Good morning. It is 7 a.m. Sans dropped me off so that he could go park the car, and I checked in our bags. We've been up since about 5:45 to get the house ready, get the cat food ready. Now we're at the airport, and Sans is probably gonna gorge himself at the lounge. So yeah, it's going really well. I could go to the Disney store now while I wait. I could sit here and read. Honestly, I could just sit and stare at nothing. But MCO is behind me. Boy, does this airport need a facelift. There were less people before, but I guess I'll wait for him. There he is. He didn't even wait for me. He just ran ahead because he's so stressed out about the lounge. What an absurd human. I feel like there's a sense of urgency. Made it back to the condo, and I still have all these books here that I eventually want to take back to the place in Florida. It is nice having some of them. I do have a lot of books from school and just a lot of lit fic that I read, and then this is when I got back into reading recently. I did buy this whole set. I still have to read these too, but yeah, you can probably some classics a la Dan Brown. Then I've got a bunch of a lot of these things, a lot of these down here are my childhood reading, Babysitter's Club, Nancy Drew. We are back in San Francisco. I was able to read quite a little bit on the plane on my Kindle. I finished up one of these small novellas that's in this Amazon collection of contemporary romance novels. I think they're all spicy. The one that they released a set of these by different authors in February around Valentine's Day, and none of those were particularly spicy. They were kind of all closed doors, and then these each have one or two spice scenes in them, but honestly they're cute, and it's a good way to be introduced to new authors. And the reason I know about it is because Ali Hazelwood is one of the 5, and she's actually the first in the novellas, and so I read that one a few days ago or whatever. But anyway, finished this one up. It wasn't the best. I gave it 2 stars. I wasn't too crazy about it, and I didn't particularly like the writing style. It was very insta-lovey, which it's going to happen in a novella. There's basically 100 pages for these people to meet and develop a relationship. And I think the reason I liked Ali Hazelwood's, which was the first one, was these people already knew each other. So there was already an established history and established life, and she does go over that and have flashbacks to that time. But in this one that I have, they basically he's a firefighter. She almost burns down the house, so she meets the firefighter. They kind of swoon over each other. She resists a little bit from going out with him. She goes out on him, and then they're in love with each other all of a sudden, after interacting 3 times. So a bit unrealistic, but still a fun read, good for the plane. And then I started on the last of my Lana Petrich, I don't know how to say her last name, I apologize. This is the last of the Fae Guardian series. I've heard them described as paranormal romances, but it's essentially one one larger world. This is the 9th book that I've read in that world, with a couple of novellas thrown around. The first 3 were about Fae that are wolf shifter. The next 3 are about vampires. Then the 3 that I'm reading now are about the more traditional fairies, with pointed ears. And then they're going to have the crow shifters later. It's a post-apocalyptic world. There are humans that are waking up from a 1,000-year slumber, and it's fated mates with these different guardians who are the cadre of 12 is what they're called. And so I'm on the 9th person from the Guardians, and they can they protect the Fae world, and they're all mated to be with these different humans. And it's a pretty cool world, and it's slowly being revealed, the history and the lore and stuff. And it's not that well written, but it's quite fun, and it hits all those romantasy tropes. And the nice thing about it is that now, being the 9th book in, I'm enjoying it a lot more. I think I rated them 2 stars, 1 or 2 stars when I first started, and then now that I'm more invested and I know the characters more and I understand the lore, it's they're kind of hitting 3 or 4 stars, which is pretty nice. So we're probably going to do some packing up in here. We still have a bunch of Lego that's put together that needs to be taken apart. And then we might be seeing a friend of mine. We just had a really nice lunch with my dad at this Japanese restaurant that was really nice. Probably a little too expensive for lunch, but it was pleasant to see him again. Yeah, and then we don't have too much left to do. I'm probably going to take it easy until the funeral tomorrow, where we're going to see the rest of my family. and then we head back on Monday. We are watching Harry Potter, and then instead of going out tonight, we actually decided to break down a ton of loose Lego sets. We still have our modulars all the way along here, and the goal is to actually take them down this trip. We're also doing laundry, very exciting, packing up a ton of stuff, which feels pretty good, but hopefully we'll get quite a bit done. And like, you know, the more that we get done here, the cheaper the moving cost is gonna be. So in case you don't watch my husband's vlogs, that's him behind me.
Which is most of the people that watch us.
The AC and HVAC unit in this building has been broken for like what feels like almost 2 years now. They're finally fixing it, so it's all under construction, but that means we are freezing. It's very cold. We have our electric heating blanket layered on top of a duvet with this like really heavy duty like weighted blanket on top, and we might even pile on more stuff. You can see how he's dressed over here. But to recap the day, we traveled from Florida to California. My dad picked us up from the airport very kindly and took us to Best Buy to buy some tech that I ended up losing, honestly, on the way here, which was a bit ridiculous, but we kind of upgraded, so that's not the worst thing. Then we went to a lovely and overpriced lunch at a Japanese restaurant in San Francisco, and then we started packing and kind of getting more ready and more aggressively putting our stuff together to finally get some movers going out of here. We had some plans to maybe see friends, but that kind of fell through, and we are just here really for the funeral tomorrow. But other than that, I'm gonna end the night here, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed today, and I'm sorry it was a short one. Bye-bye.
I got you. Busted.